All right, following Tuesday's sports wagering action, we're 5-1 in our last 6 board member tier package bets on BrockPage.com. And the link for today's board member tier package bet is in the description section below. And if you want to see my current personal bet record, you can do that right now for free by going to BrockPage.com. It's located right there on the home page. Now you may be wondering what the difference is between what I do here on my YouTube channel and what I do on my website. Well, what I do here on YouTube is I'll handicap the entire slate of games in any given sport, side and total. And what I do on BrockPage.com is I actually share with you which one of these free YouTube picks on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally. We currently have over 790 members who are signed up and active on that website right now. Just remember, guys, if you sign up for a package here today on BrockPage.com, you're actually going to get full access to that membership every single day, all the way through the end of April. And with that, guys, let's go ahead and dive into some NHL action. Pretty good slate of games here for Thursday. We're going to start off with the Penguins taking on the Rangers, 7 o'clock Eastern puck drop. On Thursday, April 7th, 2022, the New York Rangers are minus 120, totals 5.5. Igor Shesterkin possible in net for New York. Tristan Jarry expected for Pittsburgh. Now Jarry's got 33 wins in the net here this season. 239 goals against average, 920 save percentage for Jarry. The Pens currently find themselves in the top 5 in the NHL and fewest road goals allowed. And they're led by defenseman Brian Dumoulin, who's a plus 21 when he's on a shift. Now, scoring-wise, Jake Gensel leads the club in goals with 33 of them, and he also has 70 total points. And speaking of offensive production, the Pens are averaging 35 shots on goal a game. They're taking on a Rangers team who lost 2 out of their last 3. And they've also had a tough time with Pittsburgh in recent meetings. Matter of fact, the Rangers lost 6 out of their last 10 games against Pittsburgh. They averaged just 28 shots on goal during that stretch. And speaking of offensive shots on goal, the Rangers are currently in the bottom 5 in the league in offensive shots per game. Now, injury-wise, Rooney and Kakko are still out for New York. Meanwhile, for Pittsburgh, Bolu's still out. Zucker's questionable. Now, total-wise, Pittsburgh gone 20-16 to the under in their travels this season. Meanwhile, New York's 19-14 to the under in Madison Square Garden. I'm going to lean toward Pittsburgh plus $1 and the under 5.5. Next game, Canadiens Devils, 7 o'clock East. New Jersey's minus 160, total 6.5. Nico Dawes for the Devils, Jake Allen for Montreal. Allen's gotten the W in only 8 out of 28 starts this year. He has a goals against average of 327. Now, the Habs allow more goals per contest on the road than any other team in the NHL. They've also yet to reach double-digit victories away from home this year. They're taking on a Devils team who won 9 out of their last 10 head-to-head meetings against Montreal. They averaged nearly 4.5 goals a game during that span. Jasper Bratt scored 22 goals this season, and he also has 43 total assists. Meanwhile, Nico Hischier has 19 goals and 50 total points. When it comes to the injury report, Vesey, Bastion, and Sharangovich are all questionable for the Devils. Meanwhile, for Montreal on the other side, Drouin, Petrie, and Pezzetta, they're still out for them. Now, total-wise, Montreal went 23-13 to the over on the road this year. They also went 60% to the over in their last 10 outings at any location. Meanwhile, New Jersey saw 7 out of their last 10 contests get over the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward New Jersey minus 160 in the over 6.5. Next game, it is going to be Flyers versus the Blue Jackets, 7 o'clock Eastern start time. Columbus is minus $1.25, total 6.5. Elvis Merzlikins for Columbus, Carter Hart for Philadelphia. The Hart's gotten the W in just 13 out of 36 starts this year. He also has a goals against average of 311. And in addition to being amongst the league's worst in road goals allowed, the Flyers have yet to reach double-digit wins away from South Philly. They're taking on a Columbus team who's playing 500 puck at home this year, and they actually find themselves in the top 10 in the NHL in home scoring. Patrick Laine has 25 goals and 27 total assists. Meanwhile, Oliver Bjorkstrand has scored 26 times and has 50 total points. Now, injury-wise, Jenner and Texier are still out. Chinakhov is questionable. Meanwhile, for Philly, on the other side of things, McEwen's been downgraded to doubtful. Now, total-wise, 5 out of Philly's last 7 road games got over the posted number. Meanwhile, Columbus went 3-1 to the over in their last 4 at home. The Blue Jackets also went 60% to the over in their last 10 at any location. I'm going to lean toward Columbus minus $1.25 and the over 6.5. Next matchup, it is going to be Predators versus the Senators, 7 o'clock Eastern start time. Nashville is the $1.80 favorite, totals at 6 goals. UC Saros for Nashville, Anton Forsberg for Ottawa. Now, Forsberg's actually had a pretty good season thus far for Ottawa. He's got himself a winning record between the pipes this year, along with a .272 goals against average and a .919 save percentage. And along with winning their last 3 straight, Ottawa's also in the top 5 in the NHL in fewest first-period goals allowed at home. They're taking on a Nashville club who averages only 28 shots on goal a game while traveling. When it comes to defensive play in this one, the Preds do tend to give up most of their goals early in the game. These guys are currently in the bottom 10 in the league in first-period goals allowed on the road. When it comes to the total in this one, Nashville went 27-9 to the over away from their home ice this season. And that's good for a staggering 75% in that category. Meanwhile, Ottawa went 60% to the over in their last 10 outings themselves. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Ottawa plus 1.5 in the over 6 goals. Next game, Sabres, Hurricanes, 7:30 East. Carolina's the hefty $3.85 favorite. Totals at 6 goals. Freddie Anderson for the Canes, Craig Anderson for Buffalo. And even though the 40-year-olds had a handful of good starts this year, Anderson does come into Thursday's contest with a .302 goals against average. And aside from allowing a bunch of goals this year, the Sabres are also allowing 35 shots on goal a game when they travel. So they're giving their opponents plenty of opportunities to score, and their opponents are certainly cashing in. Now, they're taking on a Carolina team who's in the top 10 in offensive shots on goal a game themselves. They're led by Sebastian Aho, who's scored 31 times and has 69 points. Meanwhile, Teuvo Teravainen, he leads the squad in assists with 39 of them. When it comes to defensive play in this one, the Canes are leading the NHL in fewest shots on goal allowed. Now, injury-wise, Kokoniemi's still out. Bear is questionable. When it comes to the number, Carolina saw 4 out of their last 6 home games fall under the line. They're also 22-13 to the under at home for the entire season. I'm going to lean toward Carolina minus 1.5 and the under 6. Next game, Leafs Stars, 8:30 East. Toronto's minus 145 on the road, total 6.5. Jack Campbell for the Maple Leafs, Jake Oettinger for Dallas. Now, Jake's gone 25-12 through 37 starts this season. .248 goals against average, .916 save percentage. Pretty good numbers for Oettinger. And in addition to winning 7 out of their last 9, the Stars are currently in the top 10 in fewest home goals allowed. They're taking on a Toronto team who lost 3 out of their last 6 on the road. And they've also struggled defensively in most of their road games. The Leafs currently find themselves in the bottom 10 in the league in road goals allowed. They also have a losing record against the puck line when they travel. Now, injury-wise, Kallgren is questionable for the Leafs. Meanwhile, for Dallas on the other side, Lindell, Goryanov, and Peterson are questionable for them. When it comes to the total, Dallas saw overs recently against the likes of San Jose, Carolina, and Edmonton. Meanwhile, Toronto on the other side saw 5 out of their last 6 road games get over the line themselves. Now, Toronto's officially 25-11 to the over in all of their contests away from home. I'm going to lean toward Dallas plus 1.5, keeping this one close. And the over 6.5. Next matchup, it is going to be Kraken versus the Blackhawks, 8:30 p.m. Eastern puck drop. Chicago's minus 150, total 6 goals. Kevin Lankinen for Chicago, Chris Driedger for Seattle. And even though the Kraken's going to be in the second of a back-to-back, they have had some success cashing in on the puck line on the road this year. They're 20-14 against the number while traveling this season. They've also done a real nice job limiting their opponents' chances. Seattle's allowing only 28 shots on goal a game on the road this year, and that's actually going to put them in the top 3 in the league in that particular category. Now they're taking on a Chicago Blackhawk team on the other side of things, who actually lost their last 5 straight. And they got the W only 3 times since March 8th. The Blackhawks are currently in the bottom 5 in home scoring. And they're averaging only 28 shots on goal offensively a game. Now when it comes to scoring in this one, Chicago wins 60% to the over in their last 10. Meanwhile, the Kraken on the other side of things saw their last 5 straight on the road get over the line themselves. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Seattle plus 1.5, keeping this one close, and the over 6 goals. Next matchup, it is going to be Canucks versus the Coyotes, 10 o'clock East. Vancouver's minus 195, total 6 goals. Jaro Halak for Vancouver, Karel Vejmelka for Arizona. Now, Karel's gotten the W just a dozen times through 39 starts. Now, the 25-year-old netminder also has a goals against average of .340. The Coyotes also find themselves allowing nearly 37 shots on goal a game at home. They allow more shots on goal at home than any other team in hockey. They're taking on a Vancouver club who's in the top 10 in offensive shots on goal themselves. And they're led by JT Miller, who has 29 goals and 82 total points. Meanwhile, Quinn Hughes is second on the team in assists with 48 of them. When it comes to defensive play in this ballgame here, the Canucks are currently in the top 10 in fewest goals allowed per contest. Now, injury-wise, Bozer and Hoglander are still out indefinitely. Meanwhile, for Arizona on the other side, Ladd, Roussel, and Moser are still out for them. When it comes to the total, the Coyotes saw overs recently with the likes of St. Louis, San Jose, and Edmonton. Meanwhile, Vancouver on the other side, they saw overs against the likes of St. Louis, Calgary, and New Jersey. I'm going to lean toward Vancouver minus 1.5 and the over 6. Next matchup, it is going to be Oilers versus the Kings, 10:30 p.m. East. Edmonton's minus 120, total 6 goals. Mike Smith for Edmonton, Cal Peterson for Los Angeles. Now, Peterson's 20-12 through 32 starts this season. 270 goals against average, 902 save percentage. The Kings allowed just 28 shots on goal a game. And they rank in the top 3 in the NHL in that particular category. Now, they're taking on an Edmonton team who gives up the majority of their goals early in games. Edmonton's actually in the bottom 10 in the league in first period goals allowed. When it comes to the injury list, Leon Draisaitl was questionable for Edmonton. Now, number-wise, the Oilers went 8-2 to the over in their last 10 outings. Meanwhile, the Kings saw 4 out of their last 6 at home get over the line themselves. Now, LA's also 60% to the over in their last 10 contests at any location. I'm going to lean toward the LA Kings plus $1 and the over 6 goals. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup of the show. It is going to be Flames versus the Sharks, 10:30 p.m. East. Calgary's minus 215, total 6 goals. Daniel Vladar for Calgary, James Reimer for San Jose. And even though Reimer's put up some pretty good numbers, the ice-cold Sharks lost their last 4 straight. and they garnered only 3 wins since March 12th. Now, the Sharks have had their difficulties putting the puck in the net this year. They're currently in the bottom 10 in scoring on average per game, and they're averaging only 29 shots on goal a game at home. They're taking on a Calgary team who's 20-11-2 on the road this year, and they also have a winning record against the puck line in their travels. Dan Vladar is 9-5 in his last 14 starts, with a .284 goals against average. Vladar's also got himself a .905 save percentage. Meanwhile, defenseman Chris Tanev, he's a +28 when he's on a shift. And speaking of plus-minus, Johnny Gaudreau, he's leading the NHL in that category as a +50. Now, injury-wise, Yarncroke and Killington are questionable for Calgary. Meanwhile, for San Jose on the other side of things, Leonard and Godjevich are questionable for them. When it comes to the total in this one, 3 out of San Jose's last 5 home games fell under the posted number.
Okay, bye.
Love you, bye. Meanwhile, Calgary on the other side, they saw unders recently with the likes of Los Angeles, Colorado, and Buffalo. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Calgary, -1.5. And the under 6 goals. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on BrockPage.com. If you guys do end up getting a membership here today on my website, just keep in mind, you're going to get billed the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a membership here today on my website, you're going to get access to that membership every single day all the way through the end of April. I always tell folks in every single video, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. And guys, if you want to get access to every single bet that I give out on that website, you're going to want to sign up for my board member package. Not only do board members get access to the board member tier pick itself, they actually get access to every single package that I offer on that website every single day, all the way through the end of April. The board member package is an all-inclusive membership. Now, guys, you may be wondering what the difference is between what I do here on YouTube and what I do on my website. Well, what I do here on YouTube is I'll handicap the entire slate of games in any given sport, side and total. And what I do on BrockPage.com is I actually share with you which one of these free YouTube picks on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally. But most importantly, guys, I do have to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. With that said, guys, happy Wednesday or Thursday to you, depending on when you're watching this. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at BrockPage.com.